Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS, presented by Fisherman's Marine and Outdoor.
Welcome back, everyone. Jumping back to the thing I was talking about. The reason, again, I've kind of forgot to mention that the 4,000 size, it's a larger spool. No matter what manufacturer really you have or whatever the gear ratio is, hopefully you get the highest gear ratio you can find. The bigger that spool, the faster you can get your gear back to do what? To make another cast. For me, I'm a big believer in keeping your gear in the water and making sure that your reel is full. Okay, that makes a big difference on your casting and how far you can cast, this and that. Okay, so I already showed you the fixed float. All it is just pegged with a toothpick. On my main line, I don't have a bumper on here at all. No mono, no fluoro. You can do that, but I haven't seen the benefit when I had, and it turns out to be more of an issue, so we just stick to our old school way of doing it. Then most of the time, you know, it's that 10, 12 pound fluoro as your leader, depending on how clear and low things get. You know, we'll get down to like an 8 pound P-line, you know, down to an 8 mil bead, 10 mil bead, depending on what the conditions are. But typically, that's what I'm doing. And again, it's going to be about a 50-50, depending on the water that I'm fishing, that I'm actually dragging my lead along the bottom or I'm chandeliering and letting that bead kind of just tick along. It just depends on where I'm at. Now, again, the advantage of having that fixed float. Your gear gets down to where the fish are right now. There is no pause, there is no weight. So all those spots that you can think of, and I know that if you're a steelhead angler, you know what I'm talking about, where it's a small pocket behind a rock, behind some sort of debris, or even maybe your target is in front of something like that and you need to get it down now. This gets down there immediately. It's also extremely user-friendly in small little rivers. This is kind of where we started getting good with this, or really realizing why we loved this so much when we first started doing this, again, back in the 90s, for crying out loud. There's a reason for that, all right? It's just now, right? Your gear is fishing immediately. Now, here's where the drawback is, right? Now, we will fish this in water that's up to 8 or 9 feet deep, dragging our lead, depending on current speeds and this and that. Typically, when it's deep like that, we will chandelier it, let that bait just kind of run along the bottom, but it's a fixed float. So now you've got from your weight, your lead, to your float, 6-8 feet of line, right? Hence again the 10-6, hence again the 10 to 20 pound rating for the rod. You have to have the room to make that cast. You're gonna have to master that. And once you do, I'm promising you, it's a very good way to go after them. But I can cast as far, if not farther, than anyone out there with that set up with 8 feet between my float and my lead. Now, I know a lot of you are gonna go, I would never fish that way. I'm glad that you think that way. I'm just saying. There's a reason why we do it. So there you go. So those are the two ways that I like to bobber dog. Those are the two reasons why I fish them that way. Hopefully that helps you in some way down the road. Now, let's talk to Phil. Phil is from Canby. If there's questions on any of this stuff, because I know I'm going by it too fast, if there's questions on any of this, send me an email. I'll do the best I can to answer them, because there is absolutely no doubt that they're very much different and fish very much differently. Again, Phil, looks like you have a question or a comment about dam removal. I'll do my best.
Yeah, fish, well, there's not too many guys that call you that, John Kay being one of them. But anyway,
there you go.
Yeah, in yesterday's Oregonian, there was an article about breaching the Snake River dams. They're talking about getting rid of Ice Harbor, Little Goose, Lower Monument, and Lower Granite at a cost of, to us, about $1 billion, over $1 billion. I know when they breached the dams down on the Klamath River down in Northern California and Southern Oregon, that the sediment that had backed up behind the dams took forever to wash out. I'm just wondering what your take is on this notice that they're contemplating taking care of these dams on the Snake.
Well, it's a good question. If I had my good friend, Mr. Buzz Ramsey, here in the studio, I don't think he and I would disagree, but he's very much passionate about removing those dams out of the Snake and some of the other dams that you referred to. It would be absolutely phenomenal for the salmon, all right, and the steelhead. It would make those runs much, much more robust. They've got years and years of data and science backing that particular statement. I have nothing to do with it. We've had them here in this studio and my previous studio talking about this exact topic, okay? So in my opinion, do I think it's a good thing? It's a very good thing for the salmon and steelhead populations. It's also would be extremely good for the economy of those particular parts of the states, right? Now, there's also a counter argument to that you're going to damage the shipping of goods that go up and down the rivers because those dams back them up enough to where they can get big barges and stuff through. They have to rely exclusively on railroad. So there would be a significant change in how that economy is structured. But bringing those salmon and steelhead back, that's going to bring a lot of money into an economy. Now, the common sense side of me says that there's a lot of really dumb things going on in this world, and we all know a lot of them. And some of them require electricity. And some of those dams, that's what they produce. If you eliminate electricity from the grid, things are going to get more expensive. Things are going to be a little bit tougher, and it could take more than a couple of years for sediment to clear up. It could take a lot longer. Also, it could take a lot longer to get that power back into the system. So it's a catch-22. I see the reason as to why, but the common sense side of me says sometimes you have to ask yourself, rather than if you should do something, or if you could do something, I should say, as opposed to if you should, right? I don't know if that makes any sense, but hopefully that helps out, Bill. Take care, sir. Thanks for your phone call. When we come back, I've got Porter from Portland and a couple of questions about what we were just talking about as well. We'll be right back.